This is a Poeartistry Gold Moment by the author James Lynch.
Hi, Perceptive Reader. I want to share this thought with you today. I mentioned about my sci-fi writings and views over the years, some of them decades gone by. The feelings that still overcome me at times, not only nostalgia, but yes, that deep contemplative dialogue that was written into those stories. I'm telling you. And with that being said, you can still feel those, especially if you're a sci-fi or techie type person. Let me mention something though, because I don't want to be amiss in actually sharing this with you. One thing about the Poeartistry Go, the continuation in the series now that I, didn't realize I was going to just keep on going on and going on and have these many ideas. It allows me to say, all right, I want to talk about this topic, and I don't necessarily have to try and squeeze in other topics or what have you. So recently, I was talking about Star Trek. I've talked about Babylon 5 several times over the past year and a half alone. Those commentaries have a lot of meaning for me. And this next thought that I want to share with you will go along in that same vein. What does it happen to be? Well, I saw very recently a commentary, if you will, by a YouTuber, and the person was actually talking about the Matrix, okay, the architect in particular. And only sometimes the real long time viewers and listeners of the Perceptive Readers podcast and me, when I had the domain way back then of pockbooks.com, realize we dove into those types of stories and skits on a regular basis. Oh yes, for it used to always be sharing this and that, even though I may not have made too many podcasts on the subjects. It just lent itself to a theatrical display that the Product of Culture website was known for, was being known for, okay? Way back then, over a decade or so ago. And one thing that I want to mention for the actor who played the architect, because he was explaining that they had a perfect world in the Matrix, in the beginning, and still it had an effect on the people where they felt something was just wrong. And so that ended up collapsing. You see what I'm saying? And the architect had came to the conclusion that people seem not to really be able to function, if you will, or be happy, if you will, unless there's just a lot of misery and suffering around them. And that's why you had even more matrices even before Neo. I think Neo came about around in the 6th or 7th Matrix. I don't know. That was the thought at first. And then in one of the series or what does it call, the continuation of the movie or what have you, I think it was explained that it was even way more Neos than that. I'm not even sure. But all the same, this is what I want to bring out, that the actor who played the architect, you see, the one who controls it all, reboots and everything else, so to speak, was not only protected, you see, in his penthouse, shielded not only from other programs, but was also shielded from, you see, the outside world, if you will, had mentioned in the interview that he was basically happy to be able to take that role because then he could do some of his best impersonations or whatever, like Orson Welles or what have you. and still actually get paid for it. So that's what you call being able to not only enjoy your job, you see what I'm saying? Enjoy, let me use the word hobbies, as some people would say, and still gain benefit or value from it because other people gain benefit and value from what you were doing. Okay. So, what I just want to share with you on this Poeartistry Gold moment is still this thought as well. When I tell you that you give value with your energy, it means so many ways that you give value in that way. And the thing about generosity, as I talk about, where there is a spiritual principle about there is more happiness in giving than receiving, then you know what? It really does boil down to it that people with that type of spirit, more happiness in giving than receiving, they could live, if you will, in that type of first matrix that was created. I stand by that. Also, even in a matrix that has a lot of misery and suffering that people could look at every day if they wanted to, even in that type of matrix, still, those are the ones who appreciate giving the value of someone else's energy as well. They're not stingy, and they're not, and this is actually placed in the spiritual book, they're not stingy and they're not tight-fisted. And I like to bring out, it's interesting how the grand creator himself came or expressed that phrase about persons just being tight-fisted or stingy. Okay? Have a wonderful day and take care of yourself.